magiliw, kalas na silangan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiliw, sa manlulupig, di ka masisi. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simuyan, sa langit mamakaw, manilagang tulad, awit sa panlayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagbibigay. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng walang aking pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya lamang may mamagin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
We welcome everyone to the premiere of the 17th DLSU Arts Congress Performance Showcase with the theme Tekno-Sining, the work of art in the age of digital reproduction. Tonight, we get to witness various innovative and creative works in the performing arts that best reflect the relationship between art and technology in the 21st century. The convergence of art, culture, media, design, science, and technology that has led to new ways of perceiving reality. We shall feature works from Salle University students, National University of Singapore, and Emilio Aguinaldo College, which shall be introduced by the creators for a better understanding of the concept and their creative process. Without further ado, we present the Tekno-Sining Performance Showcase.
Patunhay, a software to generate motion capture animated 3D models of Philippine folk dances for digital archiving. Patunhay is a software that offers an improved dance learning experience for users who want to learn Philippine folk dances, since it showcases the dance in a 3D setting with a 360-degree view. In addition, the software ensures the accurate preservation of Philippine folk dances that future generations can access without alterations. The study's first objective, to use a motion capture system to record Philippine folk dances, was achieved using the Rococo Smart Suit Pro 2 to record the dancer's body movements during the data collection. The suit contains 19 9 degrees of freedom inertial sensors embedded into the suit's different sections, which calculate the movement of each body part. Dancers from a dance group that performs Philippine folk dances participated in the data collection. They performed the dances while wearing the suit with the supervision of their dance trainer. After the collection of data cleaning is performed. The Rococo Smart Suit Pro 2 is prone to drift, a small error in calculating motion capture data. To fix inaccuracies, the motion capture data was first cleaned through Rococo Studio, a data cleaning software that comes with the Rococo Smart Suit Pro 2. Although, there were still errors that needed to be solved, such as one body part passing through another body part, and the inaccurate position and movement of certain dance figures. To solve the remaining inaccuracies in the data, Blender was used. Blender is a software that allows data cleaning of motion capture data by manually adjusting the position of body parts in each keyframe of the animation. Upon completion of the data cleaning, the first phase of data validation was performed by showing the cleaned and completed data to dancers and experts in the field of Philippine folk dances and interviewing them afterward. Their interview responses were considered, leading to another round of data cleaning. After the last iteration of data cleaning, the data is verified again in the second phase of data validation. Once the data has been validated, it can be processed through the software to achieve the study's second objective, which is to use a computer graphics application to create a software for the automated generation of motion capture animated 3D models. This objective was completed by using Unity in the software creation. The animation of the dance was applied to a 3D model using the Unity Asset Animator Controller, resulting in the generation of motion capture animated 3D models of Philippine folk dances. After the generation of the models, the third objective, to create a digital archive that will store the generated motion capture animated 3D models of Philippine folk dances, was achieved by creating a GitHub repository that serves as a digital archive of Philippine folk dances. 5 Philippine folk dances were added to the repository, which are Hota Gumakenya, Patong, Pangalay, Kinugsik-Kugsik, and Lapay Bantige. Upon completion of this research, Patunhay was created, where users can view animated 3D models of Philippine folk dances, which can be populated in the future by uploading the necessary files to the online repository.
Ultimately, Patunhay embodies the idea of Tekno-Sining by immortalizing the traditional art of Philippine folk dance using motion capture technology. This preserves intangible cultural heritage with expanded accessibility, enhances its educational potential for viewers, and enable artists and researchers to collaborate and innovate through technology-driven performances.
The Philippines is home for diverse cultures brought by our ancestors. From the pre-colonial era to the colonization of different countries, we share the identity we are known for today. As we embark on this artistic journey, I welcome you all to Pamana, a dance performance that weaves together the rich and diverse threads of Philippine culture and values, showcasing the traditions and principles that have been cherished and handed down through generations. The Philippine Islands boast a vibrant cultural heritage deeply rooted in its history. Dance is an integral part of Filipino life. It is more than just a form of entertainment. It serves as a powerful expression of our collective identity and shared values, and a living testament to our history. Through Pamana, we celebrate the essence of being a Filipino, conveyed through the universal language of movement, from the graceful movements to the rhythmic steps. Each performance carries the essence of our heritage and the wisdom of our ancestors. Throughout Pamana, we celebrate fundamental Filipino characteristics and values, such as being hardworking and religious. And as we transition to the present day, a vibrant mosaic where traditional and modern coexist. Young Filipinos continue to honor their heritage while embracing global influences through creating a dynamic cultural identity that is uniquely their own. With the modern technology at hand, we can create videos, presentations, and online events like this where it can be a platform to make and showcase our culture, tradition, and values, having it seen and reach more people beyond our country. This performance is more than just a showcase of dance. It is a tribute to Filipino spirit, a celebration of our shared heritage, and a reminder of the values that we continue to bind as a nation, where every step, every beat, and every moment tells a story of who we are and what we stand for. This is our gift, our Pamana.
Nag-iba, dating nahihiya't tinatanggi, ngayon'y taas noong pinagmamalaki. Naririnig mo ba? Tunog ng pagbabago, dating binubulong lang ng patago, ngayon'y sinisigaw mo na sa buong mundo.
inspired by CZ's reverse choreography. We have connected 4 dancers and 4 music producers in a collaboration that takes a new spin in our usual ways of creating choreography. Today, we have myself, who will be creating a choreography to no music, and Adriel, who will then be creating a track to my moves. Let's get to know this season's artists. I am Erica Go, and I'm from NUS Dance Ensemble. The kind of styles that I do have been varying as I grow older. I mainly do contemporary dance, but I like to venture out into different genres as well. So things like choreography or like street jazz. And I've been dancing for about 18 years because I started with ballet when I was really, really young. Yeah. I think my process for creating choreography to no music, it was something that I didn't really expect. I did look at the videos before, and I talked to Adriel as well, which is the music producer that I was working with. And I had a lot of concepts in mind of how I wanted the story to go towards. And I'm someone who likes to choreograph with a story, so something that the audience can watch and go, okay, I get it. I get what she's trying to say. But then when I started choreographing to the entire piece, it was nothing like that. And even just keeping the concept in mind was really difficult. Overall, I think it was a big challenge for me as someone who is so focused on the beat, focused on musicality. And it's hard to tell a story without the music as well for me. But I tried my best, so I hope that it comes through. Okay, so the story that I wanted to tell in my piece was primarily on the way that we see life. So basically, I listened to a song on the radio and it was called Bad Day. I think you should know it by like Daniel Powter. And I was very stressed out. So I was like, okay, why not I create a dance that helps me like show how like in a bad day or like in a stressful situation, like we can still see like the good in it. So that was something that I tried to bring across. But I think at the end of my like choreography, the main message that I wanted to send is that there's the idea of trying to conform or just put up a front. From the start, it's already about like the kind of social expectations that we have, but then it might be a bit difficult to really meet those in the society that we live in. It's kind of everywhere, but I hope that you can see it. Hi Adriel. As I've discussed with you, I don't think it's anything like what I told you before, but I try to add a bit of like nuances here and there on the emotion expression, and I have ultimate faith that you're gonna make it amazing. So all the best and thank you.
Hi, I am Adriel Amogues from the Lasallian Youth Orchestra, the official orchestra of De La Salle University, Manila, here in the Philippines.
So what approach did I take when I was creating this track? A huge part of creating the track actually came from conceptualizing and interpreting the dance that was sent by the dancer. This is mainly because the dance itself was very abstract. There was a story that the dancer wanted to convey, and I wanted to make sure that I'm able to convey that properly. Because it was very abstract, it was very open to the viewer's interpretation. So being a classically trained pianist, my natural choice of genre or style was classical. So classical orchestral way of composition. But for this piece in particular, I decided to go with a more contemporary orchestral way of composition that is actually using pure orchestral instruments. Now, what about the inspiration of the piece? How did it actually come to be? Well, the dancer, Erica, wanted to convey something of the sort that you're in a situation that you're, for example, a student who's dealing with a lot of online classes, and at the end of the day, you're really tired, you want to take a rest, but you're not able to, and you just kind of accept that this is the way things are. That's the story that she wanted to convey. Mine was kind of different, but it was kind of also similar. I wanted to convey the story of having a very routine life where it's not really making you happy anymore, and you want to finally break out the process and actually find what's for you, find what's happy for you, what makes you happy, which struggles would you actually enjoy having. And there was the similarity between the both of us. A lot of the actions that made her convey what she had actually also coincided with what kind of actions I could use to convey. And at the same time, it also reflected a lot in the music. So that was my approach. It's very abstract, and we ended up with contemporary orchestral.
I love the final product. I think it was absolutely wonderful to watch, and it really had a lot of things that I discussed with Adriel about. I think that there was a story behind it. I could see the three parts of the dance piece that I was trying to convey in the pieces, from the really mellow and in slow build up, like intensity at the start, to the climax and all the way to the end. I think there was such a strong message that both myself as well as Adriel was trying to send, and it was very apparent, and I think it worked really, really well. I particularly loved the build-up. So I think the build-up worked really well because there's some beats that I was trying to hit that were a little bit syncopated, and I think Adriel really got all of them. So it was so nice to watch, and like it's really a lot of the ooh moments when I watch dance as well. So thank you for that. Yeah, and I think the entire process in general has been so amazing, so fulfilling on my end. So I mean, like coming into To The Beat, I was both excited and afraid as well. Like afraid not knowing what to expect, but also excited because it's something new to experience. But I think what I enjoyed the most would be discussing with Adriel and just bouncing off ideas about, this is my storyline, what do you think about it? This was the story that I was trying to convey. And he was so open to the ideas and gave his own ideas and perspectives as well, which I loved. I loved hearing new, fresh perspectives, and that's exactly what Adriel did as well. On top of just working on the music and the piece together, I think it was so lovely to get to know Adriel on a more personal level. Yeah, and I really hope that I can see you, Adriel, sometime in the future. Maybe I could come down over to the Philippines, or like you could come over to Singapore. And I'd love to work more with you. I think you're such an amazing musician, an amazing composer, and I look forward to working more with you. And thank you very much for the lovely piece. We hope that you enjoyed this episode of To The Beat. If you liked what you saw or heard today and want to follow our dancer or music producer, here are their socials. To The Beat was produced by NUS Center for the Arts as part of our ExxonMobil Campus Concert Series, or EMCC for short. If you liked this episode of To The Beat, stay tuned for the next one. Keep tuning in to EMCC's virtual stage, but for now, this is Erica signing off. Hi everyone, my name is Erica and welcome to the Beat, inspired by Steezy's reverse choreography. We have connected 4 dancers and 4 music producers in a collaboration that takes a new spin in our usual ways of creating choreography. Today, we have Jackie, who will be creating a choreography to no music, and Eleanor and Clint, who will then be creating a track to her moves. Let's get to know this season's artists.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Mercado and I'm from De La Salle Dance Company Contemporary. The style of dance that I do are contemporary, modern, and jazz. And I've actually been dancing more or less 7-8 years. To be honest, for me, my process is much like a trial and error kind of deal. Yeah. So what I do is that I take a video and then from there I just keep replaying it over and over again, see which parts could be better, see which part can I move to a different segment of the choreography for it to look better, or which part I need to remove. Well, for me, having no music to work with is already, the biggest challenge of it all. But I guess besides that, it's the start of the choreography that was also tricky to do, because usually with the music you already kind of have a feel, you already kind of have a lead to where you want the choreography to start. But here, since there's no music, it's just completely, I just had no lead whatsoever. So yeah, my biggest problem really, or my biggest question to myself was, where am I supposed to start this piece? Music. What inspired my choreography was just really how I was feeling. So just really based on my emotions. So that's what I really worked with when I was making the dance. Hi Eleanor and Clint. So my piece is, long story short, it's about someone who's very tired but still has to pick themselves back up. I guess the kind of aura or vibe of this piece, despite it being about someone who's still picking themselves up despite being tired, is kind of like in a dark kind of way. Also, I'm very excited to see how this will turn out, and I'm handing everything in your hands and I'm looking forward to it.
Hi everyone, I'm Clint and my artist name is Artwork Science.
And I'm Pullman, also known as Shadow Tales.
And we are the music producers from NUS Electronic Music Lab, or EML.
Big shout out, thank you to AMCC for giving us this opportunity to try out reverse choreography and connecting us with a dancer from De La Salle University in the Philippines.
And with that, let's jump right into the production. So our original plan was Shadow Tales making the melodies and harmonies while I made the beats. So as this best suited what we were experienced with.
But when we received the dance, it was so different from what we expected. The measure is not the commonly used 4 or 8 measures.
There were also a lot of dynamics in pacing and fast-paced story progression. Another challenge was that we used different DAWs as well, so that meant that we couldn't share the project file, we could only share the audio and MIDI files instead.
After thinking about this for some time, I break down the dance and write it down into a music sheet. Based on the dance movement, I track them to the beat, and I split the whole dance into 5 parts based on different expression Jackie had.
So in the end, Shadow Tales laid down most of the song arrangement, while I added on my interpretations and did the mixing and mastering of the song. So with that, let us see Shadow Tales' production process.
Since the dance has a very dynamic emotion that changes at irregular intervals, I decided to quickly create a guide beat. I selected some percussion instruments and used them to make simple rhythms. I placed these rhythm patterns to match with Jackie's expression, and when the music track has more or less taken its shape, I revised this guide beat by giving it some variation and removing excess sound. This is one of the variations I've done. I wrote a gloomy piano melody. I added some strings where they are used in this call and response section. There was a section where Jackie looked like as if she was trapped with glaring eyes. I used the synth to create a cinematic effect like something is going wrong. I further emphasized this struggle using the hi-hats rhythm that seems to be rushing everything forward. There was a moment where she looked up, proud, and rotated her head. I made everything silent to shine the spotlight on her. Back and forth of this music production process, I waited for a clean part, we comment on each other's section, and when the track is almost done, I modulated the sounds and removed excess. And lastly, cleaned to finish this up with mixing mastering.
So as mentioned earlier, Shadow Tales' interpretation of the dance here between bars 9 and 13 was that the dancer felt trapped, so we believe a trap beat here will be appropriate. So I added the kicks, claps, some hi-hats and 808 basses here. Later in the song, I realized that Shadow Tales' tribal drum stamp had a Mumbattan style rhythm, so I used the same kick, clap and 808 bass from earlier section to make a Mumbattan style beat. And also, as you have heard just now earlier, I also added a few scenes here and there to layer and match with Shadow Tales scenes. A vital VST and also a resonator. Next, for the track mixing, I added a preset group of effects typically used in mixing, one compressor between 2 equalizers to each stand, as shown here, and adjusted the volume for each track accordingly. And lastly, for the track mastering, I used the master assistant of Ozone Elements 9 as shown here. I adjusted the loudness to -11 RFS and used the master assistant, which is a machine learning feature of Ozone Element 9 Elements preset to help simplify the mastering process. We'd like to thank EMCC and Salle University for the collaboration opportunity.
We would also like to thank Jackie for coming up with the dance. We love your expression and your choice of movement.
We hope our track fits what you interpreted your dance to be, and we look forward to seeing your reactions.
Hope you like it.
surprised and amazed with how Elena and Clint went on about it and composed this kind of music for my piece. I feel like they were really able to bring it to life. I actually think that they made it 10 times better. It's just really fascinating how they were also able to incorporate their own individual styles into such an amazing music. And I feel like I was taken on to a whole different story when watching my choreography with the music. I think that this process, it was definitely difficult. But then at the same time, it was, really fun to do. Because not only did I get to meet, new people, Elena and Clint, but then I also got an opportunity to do something that's like once in a lifetime, or that's rare, because dancers, choreographers, usually we get the chance to choose the existing music already, or like the song is already given to us, so all we have to do is immerse ourselves in that music and create a concept out of it, and then create a choreography. But then here you actually really learn a lot and face different kinds of challenges, because you're really starting with a blank slate. So yeah, I think that this whole process of To The Beat is, very humbling and something that I was able to learn a lot from. Hi Elena and Clint. So I just want to say that I'm super thankful to have met you guys, to have collaborated with you, and that I am very honored that you created such an amazing music for my choreography and brought it to life, to the next level. I hope that I get to work with you guys again in the future, maybe even for an even longer piece, who knows? And I hope you guys continue to stay safe and healthy, especially during these times. Thank you guys again. Maraming salamat.
We hope that you enjoyed this episode of To The Beat. If you liked what you saw or heard today and want to follow our dancer or music producer, here are their socials. To The Beat was produced by NUS Center for the Arts as part of our ExxonMobil Campus Concert Series, or EMCC for short. If you liked this episode of To The Beat, stay tuned for the next one. Keep tuning in to EMCC's virtual stage, but for now, this is Erica signing off. Hi everyone, my name is Erica and welcome to The Beat, inspired by Steezy's reverse choreography. We have connected 4 dancers and 4 music producers in a collaboration that takes a new spin in our usual ways of creating choreography. Today, we have Isabel, who will be creating a choreography to no music, and Marco, who will be creating a track to her moves. Let's get to know this season's artists.
Hi everyone, I'm Isabel and I'm from NUS Dance Blast. I've been dancing for about 14 years now, and I do mainly choreo fusion content, so choreo content. So the first thing was deciding how many beats per minute I wanted to choose. So I decided to go for 96 BPM because it was not too fast but also not too slow, and it gave me about 10/8 in total. So how I choreographed was, I was at the studio, put on the beats per minute and just thought like, okay, so where do I start now? On the floor? On my feet? Left? Right? So in the end I just thought like, okay, you know what? Let's focus on the movement. Let's just think about dance and what dance really is. So I just thought, okay, let's just go for it. Whatever comes, whatever goes, piece it together and then it'll form something beautiful eventually. Usually I choreograph with music that has different layers like lyrics, beats, flow, instruments and all. So this was definitely a big challenge. Also people around me thought I was meditating because they went tuk, 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 but actually I was not. But essentially, like what I said previously, it's about the movement. In the end, fun and meaning comes in as well, but dance is primarily movement. So I just blocked out all the things that usually influence me and just went for movement. I didn't really want to fix an idea because I didn't want to kind of expect my producer to add songs that I wanted him to add in a sense, so I didn't want to have a picture already. I just went for something that I'm comfortable with, a bit more flowy, some sharp movements, and what I think I'm pretty good at and more comfortable with. Yeah, so I just went with the flow and everything and added in levels, directions. Those are things that I played with more this time. So some of the concepts that I wanted to include in this dance were a lot of hand movements. I wanted to gesture, I wanted to walk, and have my body kind of just flow with my hands. I wanted to add some floor work as if I'm floating, kind of in a sense. Also a bit of sassy movements here and there to kind of add a mixture and a fusion of street dance and choreography and contempt together. My choreography process took actually quite a while. I started actually maybe 2 weeks ago, but I stopped at 2/8 because I had a choreo block. And then I tried actually a few days ago to continue my choreography, but there were some parts where I just thought it didn't really match. So I took a break for a little while, and then I just went back to think about it, to reflect, and to try new things again. So instead of focusing on what I'm stuck at, I tried something new, connected different steps, and that actually fit better in my opinion. So it can take a while sometimes, but in the end it will work out. Hey Marco, Mel here. I think you're gonna have a very interesting time piecing music together, but I'm really stoked to see what you have in store, and I know that you do an awesome job. So, 加油!
Hello, I am Marco Lorenzo de Mesa, and I am from De La Salle University, Manila. I am a violin player of the La Salle Youth Orchestra. So first, I watched the video and then I tried to mind the movement and the energy of the dancer. From there, I tried to decode the story and the plot or the concept that the dancer is trying to express or to impart to the audience. After that, I tried to respond through the music track. Then from this, I realized that this is somehow similar to scoring a film or a movie, where they try to effectively impart the plot, the setting, or the emotion, or just emphasize it. Next is to break the piece down to sections. While working with the track, what if this sound effect, this instrument works well? What if that works? What if it doesn't work, right? So explore the possibilities of the process. Okay, so here I am at my DAW or DAW. First, let me talk about the concept that I developed for this video, for this choreography. So I created this concept that she was like rising in the east and then setting in the west. So she was like a sun. With that concept, the sun, I thought the key should be G. Why? Because key of G, in other words, sol, when you translate it in English, it means sun. So key of G, that's sol, and then sun. The movements that she was doing, it reminded me of elemental bending from Avatar: The Legend of Aang, or The Last Airbender. She was like bending the elements, water, earth, fire, air. So later I'll show you how I incorporated that. First, I broke down the sections as mentioned earlier. Morning, during the day, and the duration of the day where you do all the activities, and then night. So let me go through the parts. Here, she starts at the right. So the sun rising the east. So what I did there, I looked for ambient sounds that can remind us of morning. So here I have an ambient sound that's just a free sound effect. And then that's the sound of nature and birds. And then I started with a synth. I recorded a synth here. So I added a harp and a tom. It proceeds to the part where she's getting up. So I proceeded to adding more of the instruments. So I added a hi-hat sound just to have this small build-up in a sense. And then I have this flute so that it can tie well with the strings and the synth, giving us an idea that it's still morning, and with the hi-hat, it's just building up. I have a riser, 2 risers, because I found out that they sound cool to get together. Flute comes. Volume is rising, riser. Okay, I added that boom because it's like a closing barrier to the morning sequence. Next, we have the day part. But before the day part, I actually added some transitions like here. Yeah, I recorded my voice that says, "Sun comes up and we're dancing all day." Yeah, I just incorporated the idea of her dancing. And here's the transition part. So, riser. Here is where the day starts. We can see in the timeline that there is a kick and clap snare. And then that's just like a hip-hop sound here. Yeah, I have a bass here. That's an 808 bass for the kick. And then the same hi-hat from earlier. And then just a repeating dance. I followed her big energy and flowy energy with this type of music. So it's like an interpretative hip-hop, right? So remember I earlier said about Avatar, The Last Airbender, and her moving, like bending elements, water, earth, fire, air. So I added sounds. First, I added water. Yeah. So looks like she's bending water. And then the next element is earth. I added earth. The next movement is fire. Look at that. Look at the next movement. Boom. And then air. This is air. So I actually added all the elements from Avatar. The whole duration of the day goes like this. Water. Earth. Fire. And air. Next part is the night or the evening. So I added a transition where the high energy should fall into a lower-ish energy. I added this, what do you call this? Decaying sound or falling sound. And then I added a clock sound. I added this because, time is running out and it's slowly getting nighttime. So I started actually with combining first the transition, falling action. And then lastly, for the evening, I added evening sounds. And actually, all day, the ambient sound is playing, so you can hear birds and nature everywhere. Lastly, I added for the night part. She moves, falling down into a crouch position. So I added strings and then flutes again, just to like resolve from the first part and then tie it up again to the last part. And then I added an intro from one of my favorite songs. It's Dreamy Night from Lily Pichu. And lastly, when she was in a crouch position, I added this Twinkle Twinkle Little Star melody. Yeah, just to remind us that it's nighttime. Yeah, so that's my track. Yeah, it was a great challenge. I put 2 concepts together and I had fun with it. I looked for many sound effects and tried to mimic the sounds of nature. And at the same time, I put elements of electronic music. This was very fun. I actually enjoyed making this track. And hopefully Belle likes this. To Isabel, thank you for this wonderful dance choreography of yours. I know it was a challenge that you were dancing to only a metronome and you were dancing to no music at all. That shows that you're a very talented dancer and overall a great artist. I hope my track the music that I created gave justice to your piece. And then lastly, I just hope you like it. Thank you.
Man, it's so magical. Wait. Something happened. I don't know how to react to this. Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. Dude, my heart is still pounding from what I just watched just now, and I really love it. The whole piece was actually about a starting, a climax, and then the ending, which is kind of like the beginning as well. And I think Marco really took that and he captured it in terms of the graceful, magical to the bit more warrior fighting Mulan, back to a natural and magical, and I think that was really spot on for Marco. The whole process for me was really interesting, from choreographing to no music, just beats and counts, and then seeing the dance with the music. It was really eye-opening, and I think it shows me that dance can be made different ways. Not just the conventional music and dance, but also dance and then music, or any way that you want to as well. Just go for it and be creative. And to my newfound friend Marco, thank you for the times that we talked on Telegram and bonded, and I think that this chemistry really helped us to, kind of have this like thing with each other, and we synced up really well. So hopefully if you're down, we can collab again in the future.
We hope that you enjoyed this episode of To The Beat. If you liked what you saw or heard today and want to follow our dancer or music producer, here are their socials. To The Beat was produced by NUS Center for the Arts as part of our ExxonMobil Campus Concert Series, or EMCC for short. If you liked this episode of To The Beat, stay tuned for the next one. Keep tuning in to EMCC's virtual stage, but for now, this is Erica signing off. Hi everyone, my name is Erica and welcome to The Beat, inspired by Steezy's reverse choreography. We have connected 4 dancers and 4 music producers in a collaboration that takes a new spin in our usual ways of creating choreography. Today, we have Felice, who will be creating a choreography to no music, and Ira will then create a track to her moves. Let's get to know this season's artists.
Mabuhay! I'm Felice Hoves from De La Salle University, Manila, and I'm a current member of La Salle Dance Company, Folk. I have always loved dancing as a child. I remember joining various dance workshops, mostly related to hip-hop and street dancing, and was a part of dance groups back in grade school and high school. But it was only until I entered college where I could say that I have found my dance genre, which is Philippine folk dance. I have been receiving my formal training from our trainer, Mr. Peter Alcedo Jr. for 4 years now. I'm still a newbie in making choreographies, but when I do, I usually just freestyle, improvise, or combine steps from previous pieces I've already danced or dances that inspire me the most. But in terms of Philippine folk dances though, there are some steps that require a proper form. So even though I am freestyling, I still make sure that these steps are still appropriate or can be modified into a more contemporary version. Creating choreography without music felt a bit incomplete, mainly because for me, music is my blueprint in making choreographies, as music sets the mood, what your facial expressions should be, how big your movements should be. Those little rhythms, beats, it makes up for how you should move towards the piece or the whole choreography. So I think what mainly inspired me in further creating this choreography is the idea that I am representing the Filipino culture. So with my choreography, I made it to a point that I'm able to combine or incorporate a bit of steps from each of the subgenres in Philippine folk dance, which are the Cordillera dances, the Maria Clara or Spanish-inspired dances, rural dances, and the Muslim or Luma dances. To Iren, I already know that you're gonna be doing an amazing job in producing the music for this choreography. I hope that I was able to help you in some ways during our small discussions on how you could approach the process of making it, and I super can't wait to hear what you have in store for us. I'm so excited. So good luck, partner. We got this.
Hi there, Internet! My name is Aaron, and I'm also known as Falling Islands. That's my sort of musician name, if you will. Welcome to my little home studio here. This is where I write music, compose music, produce music, and also listen to music. Did I mention that I like music? Haha. Yeah, so I am a member of NUS Electronic Music Lab, and I am also an electronic music production instructor at Pop Studio Academy in Singapore. So basically today we are going to be taking a look at the track that I made to Felice's choreography that she did for To The Beat Season 3. And so without further ado, let's hop on over to the computer and see what I did. Alright, hi everyone. I'm now here at my workstation here. I use Logic Pro as my main digital audio workstation. So what I did first when trying to compose music to Felice's choreography was to import her video file of her performance into Logic. What you see here in the little thumbnail at the side and at the top here is the video file that's put on the music timeline. So I can actually expand it out, and actually the first thing I did when I was composing for this choreography was to watch through the footage on its own first. All I did was clap along with the footage like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I eventually ascertained that 117 beats per minute was the tempo that Felice was dancing at through the very all-powerful theory of agaration or estimation. I did that. The first step I take towards doing any kind of scoring or writing music to picture is to make myself a guide track. So what a guide track is a very simple version of the entire track that you're going to make. I basically use this very simple sound just to create a skeleton of the track. So we can pop over to the video of myself playing this guide track. So the first instrument I added, and it was the bass pizzicato strings. So I really like to start with the bass pizzicato as it really grounds my track. It really gives my track a very solid foundation to build everything else upon. Then on top of this bass pizzicato, I also added this sub sound. So this is actually a synthesizer sound that I made with Serum. So this is a very popular plugin that makes all sorts of wonderful synthetic sounds. And I thought that this would go very well with the orchestral sound of the bass pizzicato, sort of something to enhance and make it even more weighty than it is. So by layering these two together, I get a very weighty bass sound. So now I'll move on to the mid pizzicato strings. So this is also a pizzicato plucked string sound, but I wanted to give it a sort of more mid-range to high-range kind of melody, a sort of enchanted forest kind of vibe. So this is a slightly higher melody that follows along with the bass pizzicato parts that I've added. So next I'm going to go to this soft string spurs instrument. So what this is essentially acting like a solo instrument that plays a very prominent lead line on top of the pizzicato lines that I've already put down. So it's a really beautiful expressive sound, and it goes very well with the layers. And so on top of that, I decided to add on some harp sounds. So to add a little bit of like bloom kind of flavors around. What this does is I already have a pretty full kind of orchestral sound. But then I also thought something was missing because, of course, I'm from Electronic Music Lab. I wanted to add a little bit of electronic elements to this track. So what I decided to do was to use an analog synthesizer, a real hardware analog synthesizer, to add an additional layer of instrumentation to sort of accompany the orchestral parts. So it's a real hybrid of electronic and orchestral. So I put in this basically a kind of a bit of a brassy, stringy kind of sound. Alright, so even though this is a synthetic sound overall, I feel like it adds a lot of character to the overall piece, the orchestral parts of the song, because it really fills in the gaps of empty space in between all the orchestral sounds with this very nice swelling textures. Alright, next we're going to go on to the flute. Okay, so I wanted to add in a little bit of like high-end melodic interest in this track. Yeah, you can sort of imagine like a panoramic movie shot of over like a valley as the sun rises, that kind of thing. That was the vibe I was going for with the flute. And of course, you probably heard already, I also added celeste. So these are little bell-like. These are little bell-like sounds that also play and that I timed along with Felice's kicks. And as you can tell, there's a little bit of a jingling kind of sound with the celeste. So even though this is an acoustically recorded instrument, I added a little bit of electronic effects. Okay, so now moving on to the second to last instrument, I added this serum preset. So I'm using serum again. So what this is it's a little bit of a atmospheric electronic texture that I just added on top because I thought it was a nice touch to add some high-end sparkle on top of the flutes and celestes. So along with the flutes and celestes, they really add a lot of character to the high end of the track. Yep, so this was actually a sound that I designed myself using Serum. I just put together a bunch of waveforms and just like tweaked a bunch of settings, and then it came out with this very beautiful kind of patch. Yeah. It sounds heavenly, doesn't it? So now on to the very last song. This is sort of my sort of favorite sound to use. So this is my own recreation of a very popular sound that used to be used in the 1980s. So it's a very popular synthesizer sound that kind of goes a bit like this. So I use this to add little sparkles all around the piece that sounded like this. Yeah, so this is just some additional sparkles that go along with the beats. Alright, so that is basically it for the track. So I started with the guide track, then I essentially put in some very basic orchestral layers, then I added in some synthesizer layers and also some top-end flutes and celeste and all this kind of instrumentation, and the result is what you're about to hear. So yeah. Alright, hi Felice. I really hope you enjoyed the track that I prepared for your choreography. It was really a beautiful dance to work with, and I'm really thankful for the opportunity to be able to work with you over the internet on this project. So, here we go.
I really like the composition Earring made. It was so warm, hopeful, and just exudes positivity or good vibes. And I feel like I challenged Earring in making this composition because I didn't have a specific tempo as I was dancing. I was just casually counting in my head and freestyling the choreography that I did, but he was able to make a consistent beat if you were able to listen to it a while ago. And as I mentioned earlier, I really like how the starting beat was lively, but not too lively, allowing it to continuously build up. So as I was doing a new figure or a new movement, he was also adding a new instrument to the mix or a new beat. And I really like that one. Also the violin or the hum. So it becomes louder as my movements are bigger and then softer if my movements are smaller. And although he was trying to match my movements, it felt like he was also encouraging me in some way to dance bigger, exaggerate my movements, and it was really just good and yeah, amazing work. At least from my experience, it's already difficult enough to match your choreography or the context of the dance with the existing music. So what more here wherein you're instructed to dance to no music at all. So it was really a learning experience. I was able to be more mindful of my body, my breathing, and my surroundings. And I think this activity just proves how art really is anywhere. It's just a matter of how you're gonna be interpreting your environment, the things around you. So I recommend this activity to all artists out there if you wish to challenge your creativity and you wish for new ideas to flow through you. Hi Ireng! It was really such an honor for me to have worked with a great artist like you. Thank you so much for giving a new meaning to my choreography, and I hope that this will not be the last of our many collaborations in the future. Just kidding, but maybe. I wish you well and good luck in your future endeavors. I'll always be here listening and supporting you, waiting for your new releases in your Spotify account. Everyone, please go follow him. Thank you so much again and stay safe.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of To The Beat. If you like what you saw and heard today and want to follow our dancer or music producer, here are their socials. This episode wraps up this season of To The Beat. A big shout out to all our dancers and music producers who were involved in this season, including Adriel, Marco, Ireng, Elena and Clint, Felice, Jackie, Isabel, and me. To the Beat was produced by NUS Center for the Arts as part of our ExxonMobil Campus Concert Series, or EMCC for short. If you enjoyed this series, remember to leave a comment, share with your friends, and stay tuned to EMCC's YouTube channel for more shows, performances, and collaborations. But for now, thank you for tuning in to this series. My name is Erica, and see you all again soon.
Hey.